the real-life figures who walked among stars. William Billy Morris Bioff, the union-turned-mob fixer. In 1930s Hollywood, unions were paths to legitimacy, but Bioff turned them into mob-controlled cash cows. Working with Harry and Jake Guzik under Al Capone's oversight, he infiltrated the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. Bioff extorted major studios like MGM and Paramount, extorting millions during no-strike agreements and skimming huge personal profits. His flamboyant lifestyle, luxury suits, gold cards, was his undoing, prompting law enforcement intervention and a sensational scandal. Though less known today, Bioff helped subvert unionism into organized crime's on-set muscle. Johnny Stompanato, from mob gunslinger to Hollywood bully. Johnny Stompanato, ex-Marine turned enforcer for Mickey Cohen, wove himself into Hollywood circles via Lana Turner's romance. Dubbed Handsome Harry, he was infamous for abusing Turner, culminating in a 1958 death ruled justifiable homicide by her daughter Cheryl Crane. Earlier, he was deported from the UK after menacing Sean Connery on set with a gun, prompted by jealousy over Turner, and allegedly earning threats from LA Mob for disrespecting Cohen. While Stompanato's story inspired legends in Elroy novels and LA noir fiction, the truth, the abusive boyfriend, tragic death, and celebrity courtroom case is hauntingly stark. George Raft, mob-connected actor, who coined the iconic coin flip. George Raft remains one of the most compelling actor-gangster figures. Before fame, he performed in nightclubs frequented by real underworld figures. His breakthrough came with Scarface, 1932, playing Guino Ronaldo and inventing the now iconic on-screen coin flip, a gesture later claimed by other characters, but traced to Raft. Raft rubbed elbows with mobsters. He allegedly intervened to save James Cagney from a mafia hit, influenced Gil Brown extortion via Bioff, and was tied to Bugsy Siegel's bookmaking rings. In the 1950s, he nearly became Flamingo Casino Entertainment Director, with gambling license rejected due to illicit ties. His public denial, "I never did business with them," couldn't erase his underworld bond. John, Handsome Johnny Roselli, Hollywood producer and CIA operative, Roselli's path from bootlegger to Hollywood fixer to CIA asset reads like a pulp thriller. Born Filippo Sacco in Italy, he emigrated to Boston, eventually working for Chicago Outfit, then aligning with LA Mob through Mayor Frank Shaw's bribes. He faced labor racketeering charges, served time, then pivoted to producing gangster films at Monogram Eagle Lion, leveraging mob and studio connections. In the mid-1950s, Roselli became the outfit's chief LA and Vegas representative overseeing casino skims. He was later exposed in CIA declassified memos as part of the covert plan targeting Fidel Castro. Bugsy Siegel, the mobster who brought glamour to Las Vegas. Few figures loom as large as Bugsy Siegel, provocative, ambitious, and charismatic. Growing up in Brooklyn's Lower East Side, Siegel formed the Bugs and Meyer mob with Meyer Lansky. The duo introduced the concept of in-house hit squads, later absorbed into Murder, Inc. They were allegedly involved in the assassinations of Joe Masseria and Salvatore Maranzano, a seismic shift in mafia power. Siegel moved west in 1936. He embedded himself in Los Angeles high society, mingling with stars and studio moguls. He leveraged labor rackets to extort studios, collected cash from celebrities, and financed lavish Beverly Hills parties. Siegel revolutionized organized crime by conceiving of Las Vegas as gangster Disneyland. He financed the Flamingo Hotel, opening December 26, 1946 with support from Lansky. Budget overruns and suspicions of skimming strained mob support. On June 20, 1947, Siegel was shot dead at his Beverly Hills home, murdered for losing mob money and betraying trust. His famed status, flawlessly bookended by protégés and movie connections, made him suburban crime icon. Today, memorials span from the Flamingo to synagogues honoring his yahrzeit. Real gangsters, modeled on real underworld, The Godfather's mob accolades and involvement. When Francis Ford Coppola adapted Puzo's Godfather, the mafia's presence in the set was no myth. Al Lettieri, who played Sollozzo, introduced Marlon Brando to real-life mob dinners to absorb authentic aura. Mafia Don Joe Bufalino even met Brando on Little Italy's set, reciting admiration. There were mob-affiliated extras scattered among the props and crew, and threats if the word mafia remained in the film. Paramount producers agreed to excise the term to placate Colombo gang leaders. The Godfather's legacy owes as much to reality as to fiction. The Great Depression gangsters versus Hollywood myths. The 1930s robber barons of crime, Dillinger, Bonnie and Clyde, have often been glamorized, but the truth was stark. FBI agent profiles revealed many were inexperienced, rookie shooters in Hoover's G-Men nationwide crackdown. Odd as it might seem, Al Capone-style organized crime caused fewer civilian casualties than bank robbers. Film and literature mythologized Dillinger, yet overshadowed the agents who risked everything in the war on crime. Hollywood superstars and mob ties. Frank Sinatra and the Chicago Mafia. Sinatra's old blue eyes persona was reinforced, some would say backed, by his connections to Sam Giancana. FBI tailed him for decades, suspicious of influence and interference. George Raft and Bugsy Siegel, a mutual admiration. Friends since the 30s, Raft protected Siegel in legal proceedings. Siegel, in turn, reportedly preferred Raft to portray him in a biopic due to their mutual respect. The enduring mythology of urban gangsters. It has been posited that mob mythology is part of America's myth-making, intertwined with ethnicity, drama, and entertainment. The Jewish-Italian axis in the underworld mirrored Hollywood's studio heads and directors, reinforcing organized crime's theatrical legacy. These narratives survive because they tell us who we are, our impulses, ideals, and the desire for the romantic outlaw. Modern audiences may be as drawn to flawed, charismatic criminals as previous generations were. Page 1, Page 2, Page 3, Page 4, Page 5, Page 6, Page 7, Page 8.